Hello again. I am Professor Wolfizzle, and today I want to share some thoughts about reflection, progress, and motivation. Because learning a language or any skill is not only about memorizing words or completing tasks, it is also about noticing how far you have come, understanding your own learning process, and feeling encouraged to continue even when progress feels slow. This morning, I wake up slowly and sit by the window for a few minutes, letting the sunlight warm my face. I think about the past weeks, the episodes we have shared, and the words I have learned. I remember the first days, when even simple sentences felt complicated, when I sometimes forgot common words, and when I doubted whether I would ever speak comfortably in English. Now, as I look back, I notice that many words and phrases feel familiar. Sentences flow more easily in my mind, and I can imagine using English in everyday situations. I make myself a cup of tea and sit at the table with my notebook. I begin to write down words and phrases that I remember clearly, like focus, attention, relax, satisfaction, confidence, and practice. I also write down some newer words that I'm still learning, like flexibility, motivation, boundaries, polite, and reflection. I repeat them slowly, imagining situations where I could use them. For example, I think of telling a friend politely, "I'm sorry, I cannot come today, but maybe another time." Or explaining my plan carefully in English during work. Writing, repeating, and imagining these situations helps me remember naturally. After breakfast, I take a quiet walk outside. I notice the sounds of the city, the people walking, the birds in the trees, and I think about how learning is similar to observing life. Every small detail, every word, every sentence practiced, every conversation imagined or real contributes to progress. I remind myself that even when improvement seems slow, it accumulates like small drops filling a glass. Each day adds a little more knowledge, confidence, and fluency. While walking, I reflect on motivation. Motivation is not always a strong, constant feeling. Sometimes it is very visible. Other times it is quiet or even weak. I notice that the most important thing is consistency. Even when motivation is low, taking small actions, listening to a podcast, reading a sentence, practicing a phrase in your mind, keeps learning moving forward. Motivation often follows action, more than action follows motivation. Returning home, I sit at my desk and review some old notes. I notice sentences that were difficult at the beginning. I read them aloud slowly and carefully. They feel much easier now. I feel a quiet satisfaction because I can see my own progress. I think about how patience, practice, and repetition are more important than speed. Small, steady steps create real and lasting improvement. Later in the afternoon, I imagine using English in various daily situations, asking for directions, explaining a small idea at work, or telling a friend about my plans for the weekend. I practice sentences quietly in my mind, and sometimes I speak them aloud. I notice how each repetition strengthens my confidence, helps me choose words more easily, and improves my ability to communicate naturally. In the evening, I reflect on the lessons from this series of episodes. I think about listening carefully, speaking clearly, practicing polite refusals, handling misunderstandings, planning, observing, and managing energy in social situations. Each episode was a small step, but together they form a path of steady progress. I feel proud. Not because I'm perfect, but because I have practiced consistently, faced challenges, and learned to use English in practical, meaningful ways. Before going to bed, I take a cup of tea and sit quietly, reflecting on my journey. I feel gratitude for the learning process, for the patience I have developed, and for the opportunities to practice. I remind myself that reflection, persistence, and curiosity are as important as memorizing vocabulary. Every day, even small actions contribute to improvement. Every conversation, imagined or real, is a chance to learn and grow. Now, as the day ends, I feel calm, satisfied, and motivated to continue learning. I know that progress may sometimes feel slow, but every small step adds to a larger journey. I am confident that with patience, practice, and reflection, I will continue to improve and enjoy using English in my daily life. Thank you for listening. I am Professor Wolfizzle, and this was episode 30, the last episode of this season. I hope you can reflect on your own progress, notice the small victories, and continue your journey with patience, curiosity, and confidence. Remember, learning is not only about words, it is about understanding yourself, appreciating your growth, and taking small steps every day. I look forward to continuing our adventure in future episodes.